Hello one and all, and welcome to the EuroFantasyLeague Podcast. This is where we bring you your fortnightly updates on the Premier League, La Liga and Serie A, with all the Fantasy League stats coming from EuroFantasyLeague.com, of course. And I'm Jamie McLean, and I'm joined as always by the one and only Dave Fennick. Hello, Dave.
Afternoon, Jamie.
Good afternoon. How are you doing, sir?
Not too bad. The sunshine's beautiful. Is this our summer, do you reckon?
I think it is. It'll probably be finished by tea time, I would imagine.
Yeah.
So, right,
barbecue's put away for another year.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll be right back. Yes, welcome along, as I say, to the Euro Fantasy League podcast. This is your fortnightly update on the Premier League, La Liga and Serie A. All the stats coming from EuroFantasyLeague.com. We're here with you every fortnight, though it's been 3 weeks, Dave, since the last one because of Easter and all that.
Yeah, Easter Monday was going to be our last podcast, wasn't it? So
yeah, it had
we were
been
otherwise engaged.
We were commentating together, weren't we? So we still ended up working together. So yes, you can find the Euro Fantasy League podcast on the likes of iTunes, Acast, Google Play, Podcast Addict, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, YouTube, all the usual platforms. And if you enjoy what you hear, if you wouldn't mind just logging on, only takes a minute or so, and just leaving us a rating and review. A 5-star rating would be absolutely wonderful, wouldn't it?
It would, and it's all free, isn't it, to subscribe?
It is, it's all totally free. The only thing you'll have paid for is the device on which you're listening, but if you've already got that, that's it, no more charges. Yeah. So we're going to be going in a couple of minutes, Dave, into the usual weekend winners, but I've got a good name game for you on this episode. So do you want us to give you the first couple of clues?
Go on and fire
for this
away.
One, because I've got a lot of clues. I do. I've got a lot of clues for this one. So clue number one. Yeah, clue number one. I was born on the 25th of January, 1967. Well, just to give you a little idea on the generation.
That makes him about 50 then, I think.
Not far off, 51 I believe, yep. And I made 503 appearances during my senior football career, scoring 81 goals. So not bad, not a bad tally. So I might give you just a little bit of a couple of the stats to get out the way there. So that's your first couple
I'll have a think about that.
So shall we get cracking then with the weekend winners?
Come on then.
Right, so we've got in the weekend winners list, number one, we've gone for Paul Pogba. Now, he's not particularly the highest scoring weekend winner points-wise that we've ever had, but his contribution was quite vital, wasn't it? 2 goals in 2 minutes.
Well, what I'm saying, though, because I got a bit of surprise when you said this is a weekend winner, because if the game's about 45 minutes, yes, I'd have him as a weekend winner, but the first half, he was absolutely terrible. Turned up in his blue hair, which I thought was a bit strange for Manchester City away.
Yeah.
And he had a nightmare first 45, and then, as you say, he did the business in the second 45 and got Manchester United the win.
That's absolutely right. I mean, like I say, I just threw him in there because, like I say, 2 goals in 2 minutes totally flipped the game on its head. And yes, as you say, the first half was a disaster, not just for him, but Man United in general. But that second half came out, when that second half came round, they just looked like a different team, didn't they?
Well, they did because, and I've got a theory on this, because Manchester United were 2-0 down, Pogba was allowed to go and play. The shackles were off him. And if I was Mourinho, that's what I'd be doing every week. I'd be letting him just Pogba have a free roll and just not do what he wants, but a free roll. And when the shackles were off him, it shows you what he can do. Yeah,
well, it does. I mean, he's got the capability, hasn't he, to be one of the best players in the world. But I know he just frustrates Manchester United fans so much because
he does. But is that sorry to interrupt? Is that the way Mourinho's playing him though?
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? Just not too sure. But I know I listen to obviously your football talk shows on a weekend and stuff like that, and the number of fans who were just absolutely baffled by how good he can be on his day compared to how poor he can be. But like I say, I think he turned it up at a really good time there. I mean, that coming down from 2-0 down to win 3-2 reminded me a little bit of back in November 1993. It was exactly the same scenario. Man City were winning 2-0 against Man United at Main Road, I think it was. And Eric Cantona scored 2, and then Roy Keane, playing in his first Manchester derby, gave United the 3-2 win. And that, I think, was the first time I saw a 2-goal deficit overturned, because I was not too long into football since then, maybe been into it a few months, and it's always
Was
stuck
that
with me.
the famous Keane tackle on?
No, that came years later. That was about four. Are you talking about Alfie Haaland?
Yeah.
No, that was a few years. That was about 97 or 98, that one, I think.
Right. Okay.
But Man City's goals that day in November 93, both of them by one Niall Quinn. So there's a little point of interest for you.
Legend.
Yeah, absolute legend. We both think very highly of that man. So, I would have said that was Pogba's best Man United game, or certainly the second half.
45, I'll say.
For quite some time. So, 7 points, 2 goals. He did lose one for the book and 11 million to get into your fantasy side. So, Paul Pogba there, the first of the weekend winners. And second, we've gone for Iago Aspas at Celta Vigo. 4.5 million, 14 points he got. He was tied with Lionel Messi for points this week.
Now, isn't this the lad who was a flop at Liverpool?
He was. He did absolutely nothing when he was at Liverpool.
I think now, though, if I'm right, he's the fourth top scorer in La Liga with 19 goals.
Yeah, 19 goals. Yes, that's right. And it was a hat-trick he scored at the weekend against Sevilla, who he played for while he was at Liverpool. He went on loan to Sevilla, so he's managed to hit a hat-trick against one of his former clubs as well.
Right.
So that's
good work, fella.
Very good work. Good work rate, especially for the 4.5 million tag there. So, really finding his feet, as you say. 19 goals for the season. Really good contribution there for Celta Vigo. And then we've gone for the third one, Chick Diabate at Benevento. 6.5 million.
He's on loan, isn't he, from Osman Lispor in Turkey?
He is there on loan, yes, that's right, yeah. Correct.
I mean, he's getting on, this fella now, 29-year-old Malian, and he's played for Benevento. He's only played for them since January, and he's made 5 appearances and scored 5 goals. Now, in 2017, he was on loan at Metz in the French league. They were struggling, and I don't know why. Somehow they couldn't keep him for the full season, and he'd scored 8 goals in 14 appearances.
That's crazy, isn't it?
So I think Metz were desperate to keep him, whether it was financial or whatever. But as I say, he's not a young boy anymore. He's 29-year-old, but doing the business for Benevento, who are struggling really badly. I would basically say they've gone from.
I think they have.
Sorry, yeah.
They're only a game or two away from that being secure, I think. But yeah, the 4 goals he scored 2 goals, braces, in the 3-0 home win against Hellas Verona midweek, and then he scored both of Benevento's in the 4-2 home defeat against Juventus. So for all Benevento lost, I just thought that capped off a really good week for him, really. And as you say, his goals to game ratio is brilliant. So. So a special shout out there to Paulo Dybala, your boy. He got a hat-trick in that game, but Diabate just nicked it because he had 4 goals over the last few days.
I think we're going to go through Serie A and La Liga in a bit, so I was going to mention Dybala,
Yeah, I figured you might do, so I thought I'd get in there first. So,
mind you, it wasn't all a good week for him, mind.
No? Come on, then.
Well, I'll leave that one with you, but
you're going to hold off on that one for later. Now. Oh, you tease you. Right, okie doke, so we'll look forward to that. So that's the weekend winners, Paul Pogba, Iago Aspas and Chick Diabate. So should I give you another couple of clues before we go to
You should give us quite a few clues, I think, because I've gathered he's about 50, and that's all I know.
Yeah, well, I was once asked what I intended to do once my playing days were over, and I quipped, if I told my wife I was going to become a manager, she'd say, sign this then. Don't worry, it's only a divorce. Au revoir. So there you go.
Au revoir.
And he was once labelled the best footballer in the world by Dutch legend Johan Cruyff. So I mean that's a pretty tasty little endorsement as well. Isn't
Au revoir. Are you leading us up the garden path like you normally do?
Well, I'm not going to tell you that.
He's a Frenchman, but he could just have a French wife.
Or maybe it was just a figure of speech. You know, you never know.
I know, but if I was saying bye-bye to you, I wouldn't say au revoir, would I?
Would you not? Oh, that's just miserable. No. I say that all the time.
I might say adios, because I like speaking Spanish. So anyway, I've confused myself now.
So, well, yes, I'm not going to tell you whether I'm leading you up the garden path or not, but there may have been a reason. Path, yeah. There may have been a reason I put that clue in there. That's all I'm going to say.
Right, okay.
So actually, I'm going to give you one more, because I do have that many for this guy. So I'm going to give you one more clue as well.
Right.
I played 17...
You're not going to say his wife said adios when he went out to get a paper.
Adios, yeah. Bon voyage. Oh, no,
Yeah.
that's French as well, isn't it? So the next
Yeah.
clue is I played 17 games for my country, scoring 3 goals. My last appearance for them was in 1995, aged just 28. I was hounded out of the national side, often appearing only as a substitute after being blamed for them losing a game. So I left my native France and moved to England. So
Right,
I have just
okay.
kind of, proved that I'm not leading you down the garden path there, actually. So, yeah,
Right,
so
okay
we're
then.
looking at a Frenchman, all right?
Right,
So,
okay.
Right, so we're going to head off for a quick break, and then when we come back, I believe you've got our roundups for us, Dave, haven't you, from the Premier League,
Yep.
Serie A and La Liga, so we'll be right back after this. And welcome back to the Euro Fantasy League podcast. So it's roundup time now, Dave. So what have you got? Where do you want to start with this one?
We'll start in the Premiership for a change. We normally go across to Spain and then on Italy or vice versa, but we'll start in England this time.
Why not? Why not indeed?
Yeah, so the results at the weekend, Everton-Liverpool, boring 0-0 draw. It was a poor game, mind.
It was atrocious.
Rooney substituted and not happy at all, but they've made a big thing of this, but I'd expect this. If Rooney gets taken off, he shows he absolutely cares about playing football and wasn't happy at all. And I'm sure Sam Allardyce won't mind that kind of reaction. You want your players to be disappointed when they get taken off.
Yeah, that's right. It's quite refreshing to see, really, at times, isn't it? It's just somebody saying, no, I want to be on the pitch, as opposed to just not caring, thinking, all right, early finish.
Yep. Stoke 1, Spurs 2. Stoke are still struggling under Paul Lambert, and Spurs, Christian Eriksen. Yep. And we'll just leave the goal scorers for that one, because I might be having a go at you in your best 11. We'll leave that one for the time being,
good.
But Spurs collected all the 3 points. Watford 1, Burnley 2. 4th straight win for Burnley, and 2 goals coming in 3 minutes from Vokes and Jack Cork, and that's Burnley's best run of victories in the top flight since 1968. 4 straight wins for Burnley, and Sean Dyche continues to do a really good job. Came from behind at Watford, as I say, and scored 2 goals in 3 minutes.
Can I just interrupt you a little bit on this point with Sean Dyche? Do you think that if Man City hadn't been having such an amazing season, that Sean Dyche would be a pretty good bet for manager of the season?
That's a very good question. I mean, I do think a lot of these guys sort of go under the radar a bit, when the top jobs come up.
Yeah.
And then you can look at it the other way, though. Is Sean Dyche just a really good fit at Burnley? And if he went to another club, he couldn't do it, couldn't handle the egos and things like that, He seems to keep a sort of tight ship at Burnley, doesn't he, There's no big inflated prices, there's no big egos, and it's interesting, really. But, good question.
Yeah, no, I like Sean Dyche. Have you heard, obviously, what with that voice that he's got going when he once answered a question about it and said that he smokes exhaust pipes? I just thought that was quite funny.
What I like about him, he loves taking the mickey out of the press conference,
Yeah, he does.
He says things that are totally, not believable and aren't true, but the press, you can see them scribing them down.
Yeah,
that,
he's a bit of a...
I like a bit Mickey taken like that, shows he's got a good sense of humour.
He's a bit of an under-the-radar sort of real character, isn't he? I think he's brilliant, he Sean Dyche, so yes.
Yep.
So, carry on then.
Brighton 1, Huddersfield 1. Brighton had a man sent off, and Brighton are albeit safe. Huddersfield are still in the thick of things, and it's going to be tight for them at the end of the season. And own goal by my mate Lossell in goal for Huddersfield.
I know your very first recommendation on this podcast.
Yeah, West Brom Swansea, a 1-1 draw. Caretaker Darren Moore in charge after the sacking of, or leaving by mutual consent, the way they say these days, of Alan Pardew.
Yep.
And Tammy Abraham scoring for Swansea. I don't think he's doing too well at Swansea this season, but he got a goal on Saturday, and West Brom stopped a run of straight defeats. And I was speaking to somebody in the game and said Darren Moore is a really good coach. He did his coaching badges with Darren Moore and said he's well respected, and so hopefully he might get something out of West Brom, but they're gone now.
Yeah.
Bournemouth 2, Palace 2. Late equaliser for Josh King for Bournemouth after Zaha scored one of the goals for Palace. And Bournemouth just about safe, and Palace, they're still down there, but I still think they'll have a bit too much, especially with Zaha fit, to go down.
I think Palace should be okay come the end of the season, which is a miracle because they were the first team this season that just looked like they were gone, didn't they, after the first 10 games or so?
Yeah.
Till Roy Hodgson came in.
Yeah, he's done all right.
He has,
hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's done pretty well. And I think Zaha's a major factor because the games he missed, I don't think they hardly picked a point up,
No, I think he's very important for Palace. It was a good bit of business getting him back, I think.
Newcastle have won their third Premier League win in a row, and they're safe now. 1-2-1 at Leicester, which is cracking good result for them.
Really good result.
Some good performances from John Joe Shelvey, who they keep mentioning, to get back into the England fold should he go to the World Cup. And Lascelles starring at centre-half as well. Could he go to Russia? I don't think so, but maybe there's a place on the plane for Shelvey. Who knows?
Yeah.
Man City 2, Man United 3. As you'd say, we've mentioned that certainly the old proverbial game of two halves. And
quite literally.
We talked about Pogba starring there, and Man City will be disappointed with that 2-0 up and give it away.
Yeah.
And then yesterday we had Arsenal beating Southampton 3-2. Southampton is struggling badly now. I think they're going to go to the Championship. And Danny Welbeck scoring 2, which was nice to see. He's had a lot of bad injuries, Danny Welbeck, but Arsene Wenger quoted us saying he absolutely loves the boy. And Welbeck responded with 2 goals. And then West Ham got a good point at Chelsea. Great point, really.
Yeah, that was a
Joe
really
Hart,
good point.
we talk about people on the plane to Russia. Joe Hart, he hasn't sort of played much this season, but absolutely outstanding yesterday with a string of saves. And kept West Ham in it, and Chelsea now, the chances of finishing in the top 4 all but gone, you know?
Yeah, I'm not sure I can see that now either for Chelsea.
No,
Joe
I
Hart.
think it's gone.
Joe Hart didn't do any damage.
Sorry, Jamie.
Sorry, I was just saying Joe Hart didn't do any damage to his chances of getting through to the World Cup as maybe a number 1 or a number 2.
Yeah, you've got Butland, you've got Joe Hart, you've got Jordan Pickford. I think
Nick Pope as well.
They'll be. I don't know which order they're going to be in, but they're going to be the top 3 that go to Russia. You know.
Yeah, I think so.
The table. So Man City, even though they lost, still top with 84 points, and they will go on to win the league. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
Man U second, 71. Liverpool 67. Spurs 67. Chelsea 57. Then at the bottom, reading up, it's West Brom on 21. Stoke 27, Southampton 28, Palace 31, Swansea and Huddersfield both on 32, West Ham 34, Brighton 35, and Watford 37. Forthcoming fixtures, Palace play Brighton, which is always a spicy one. This and I used to get down Brighton quite a bit, and I've asked their supporters why is Palace and Brighton so spicy, and a few of them came up with different sort of things. There was one lad I think broke his leg in a fixture or something, and it was nasty tackle. But Palace and Brighton, they don't like each other at all.
No, I know they don't.
Southampton play Chelsea, Burnley, Leicester, Huddersfield, Watford, Swansea, Everton, Liverpool, Bournemouth, Spurs, Man City. So you never know. Man City could win the league at Wembley against Spurs, but you wouldn't back on them winning against Spurs. Newcastle play Arsenal on Sunday, Man United, West Brom, and West Ham v Stoke. Just before we leave the Premiership, Jamie, I'd just like to mention about Ray Wilkins.
Yes.
Really sad, it's 61, and I've heard people speak to him on different shows, radio, television, and I've never heard anybody say a bad word about him.
I know,
He's a total gentleman. I think he said, be nice off the field, but look after yourself sort of on it, and give you all on the pitch, but total gentleman off the field. And it was sad to see the passing of Ray Wilkins.
Yeah, it really was. I know I heard a story. He'd said there's nothing wrong with being a nasty piece of work on the field, but
yeah, I think that's what I was getting at. Yeah,
no excuse to be nasty off the field. He says you just got to conduct yourself like a gentleman, which is something he always lived by. And an absolute legend of English football, Ray Wilkins. So rest in peace.
Do you want to move on to La Liga now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, okay, La Liga. I mean, Real Madrid, it's coming out that Real Madrid will not perform a guard of honour to Barcelona should Barcelona secure the title before the next El Clasico. And, there'll probably be a big stink and a big hoo-ha at this, but I think, why should they? What's this guard of honour all about? I wouldn't be giving a team a guard of honour, I always remember years ago, like, Sunderland were playing at Chelsea, and it was Didier Drogba's last game.
Yes, I
the
remember referee
that. Stopped the game
for Drogba to be subbed
the Chelsea
off,
players cheered Didier Drogba off the pitch.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe what I was watching, and totally disrespectful to Sunderland, you know.
Yeah, no, I remember that happening as well. Yeah, I think I was sat in my front room with a Chelsea fan at the time. So he knows who he is, he listens, he knows who I'm talking about.
Right. Barcelona only need 10 points to claim the title, and Griezmann is denying that there's already agreement to join Barcelona in the summer.
Yeah, I know, that would be a big move, that, Griezmann going to Barcelona.
Yep. Ronaldo, he was told by manager Zidane to sit out their game against Atletico this week, but he ignored that and have a bet with Zidane that if he played, he would score, and he duly obliged.
He did, and it
so
was
there
a
you go,
cracking
Ronaldo.
goal.
So the scores in La Liga: Deportivo 3, Malaga 2, Alaves 2, Getafe 0, Celta Vigo 4, Seville 0, which we've mentioned with Aspas doing the business.
That's right.
Real Betis 2, Eibar 0, Barcelona 3, Leganés 1 with a Messi hat-trick, Levante 2, Las Palmas 1, Real Madrid 1, Atletico Madrid 1, Griezmann on target for Atletico Madrid, Real Sociedad 5, Girona 0, and Adnan Januzaj, one of them scorers. There's a blast.
All right, well, there you go. Adnan Januzaj.
Yeah. Valencia, I'm really impressed with Valencia. Sort of had a bit of a dip, and then they've come back strong again, and they won 1-0 with Rodrigo scoring again, so he must be up there in the goal scoring charts, I would think.
Yeah, you would imagine so, wouldn't you? I'm just
they beat Espanyol 1-0, and tonight, as we're recording this Monday, Villarreal play Atletico Bilbao. Right. And so the league tables in Spain are Barcelona on 79, Atletico 68, Valencia 65, Real Madrid 64, and Betis way back with 49 points.
Massive
At the bottom,
gap.
Yeah, massive gap. At the bottom, Malaga, they're about done, 17 points. Las Palmas 21, Deportivo 23, Levante 31, and Alaves 35. These fixtures in La Liga this weekend, the standout one, I'll not go through them all, is Barcelona v Valencia. So Barcelona in first, playing Valencia in third. Yep, there's quite a points difference, but I see that as a good chance for Valencia to test themselves against the best.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's quite a almost unique position, really, isn't it? It's third against first, and third, they've almost not really got anything to lose, have they? Because, I mean, they're only a point ahead of Real Madrid, who are fourth, but then that gap between Real Madrid and Real Betis, it's just like the top four's done and dusted, really. So, or more or less. Definitely. So, yeah, real good opportunity. It's a good point for Valencia to test themselves. And just quickly touch on Atletico Madrid, that while we were talking about La Liga, Fernando Torres has revealed that he's going to be leaving the club at the end of the season for a second time. So,
right, anywhere where he's going?
Haven't had any direct links just yet. No, he's just come out and said that he felt obliged to inform the supporters.
Right. He's obviously got something lined up than you would have thought.
I think he's just not getting as much football as he would have liked, really. Right, it's been getting more and more limited, and he said if there was only like another season or two in him, then that would be fine, but he wants to keep going for another 2, 3, 4, 5 years or whatever, so he wants to just go elsewhere. I say bring him to the Stadium of Light, personally, but
I don't think he'll fancy League One football.
No, I doubt it. Unless it's the French League One. Maybe.
Yeah. Anyway, across to Italy and Serie A. I'm going to start with the game in Serie A between Napoli and Chievo. One of my friends was actually at this match and said Napoli were poor till very late on. Dries Mertens missed a penalty, the Belgian forward for Napoli, and then Chievo took a shot lead in the 73rd minute, and then Milic levelled, and that's the Poles' first goal since August for Napoli, and then they got the winner late on, so Napoli struggling to see off Chievo there.
Yeah, I know, they did leave it late, didn't they? They got the job done, as you say, but it was very late. But yeah, Dries Mertens losing 2 points for that penalty miss as well.
Right, okay. Another team that struggled with AC Milan against lowly Sassuolo. A late goal from Nikola Kalinic saved their blushes, and they're 7 points behind rivals Inter, who were in 5th, but AC Milan struggling there now. I hope Gattuso didn't have his knife handy, you know.
Well, yeah, that's a dreadful image, Gattuso with his knife. But they responded by giving him a new contract.
Oh,
he's been given a new contract, I believe, at AC Milan. Yeah, I haven't got any of the specifics with me to hand here, but yes, I did read that he is being rewarded. Why they didn't wait till the end of the season to assess things, I don't know, but they have apparently given him a new contract.
Vital win for Crotone. Beat Bologna 1-0, and that's a bad result for our friends at Spal, but Crotone winning 1-0. Udinese got beat at home against Lazio 2-1. Lazio came from behind to win that game, and all the Udinese team wore different shirts for that game. It was for charity, so there was 11 different shirts, but they still had their proper strip on, the black and white stripes on the front and the black on the back, or it would have been chaos for the referee, you know, and linesmen or referees' assistants or whatever you call them these days. But so it was just all had sort of different colours and different little bits on them. But 11 different shirts that were auctioned off for charity, which I like to see.
Oh, that's great, that is, as well. Yeah, I'm just looking at a little photo of it on here. Yeah, I can see it's 11 different shirts from 11 different seasons. So, yeah, very good.
Benevento, who looked like they're albeit gone, lost it home to Juve 4-2, and Dybala hat-trick, which included 2 penalties and 1 for Douglas Costa, the Brazilian. Yes. Now, we mentioned Dybala earlier, and he got sent off during the week in the Champions League game. So that's why I was saying he hasn't had the best of weeks totally.
No, he absolutely hasn't. Yeah, I cottoned on what you were talking about after we'd moved on from that, yeah.
Moving on, Roma lost at home to Fiorentina 2-0, and then our friends at Spal drew 1-1 with Atalanta. Ex-Borough player Martin de Roon with a late penalty, 12 minutes from time, that broke Spal's hearts there. And Thiago Chonek, the Brazilian, who actually plays for Poland, he was Brazilian born, but plays for Poland, he got the goal for Spal. Moving on, Sampdoria 0-0, Genoa, probably about as exciting as Everton Liverpool. Torino beat Inter 1-0, and Verona beat Cagliari 1-0. So Serie A, we've got Juve at the top with 81, Napoli 77, Lazio 60, Roma also on 60, Inter 59, and AC Milan, or Milan as we call them, 52. The bottom of the league, Benevento 13, they're gone. Verona 25, Crotone 27, Spal 27, so just above it on goal difference, Cagliari 29, Chievo 29, Sassuolo 30. And the fixtures this week, the standout one is Lazio v Roma, 3rd and 4th, both on 60 points, both locked in there.
Yeah, they're neck and neck. That's going to be an absolutely huge game, that one is, so I'm very much looking forward to that one.
Yeah, so that's a roundup from Premier League, Serie A and La Liga.
Very good. Marvellous as always. Well done. So, right, shall we move on? Another couple of quick clues, then we'll take a break, and then we'll get the best 11 and the name game wrapped up for this episode, shall we?
Yes.
So, I'll give you another clue first. So, I was a contestant on the very first season of Danse avec les Stars in 2011, finishing 3rd. So that's a French version of Dancing with the Stars, or Strictly Come Dancing, as we've got over here.
Okay.
When playing a charity...
Okay, I think I've got 2 names, and I think I might know them, but I won't tell people.
All right, well, tell you what, just I'll turn the mic off and just whisper it to me. Oh, okay, interesting guess. Just had a guess off Dave, off mic there.
Off camera?
Off camera, yeah. Did I not tell you we're being filmed? Yeah, and the next one, when playing a charity match in 2016, I suffered a cardiac arrest. Had I not been treated so promptly, I could have suffered permanent brain damage or worse, but I am still alive and well. So I
think I've got it, haven't I?
I think that sounds like you probably have, yes. So should we just go through the best 11 of the weekend when we come back from break, and then we'll get the identity of this player confirmed. So we'll be right back in a moment. Welcome back to the Euro Fantasy League podcast, and now it's time for the best 11 of the week, Dave. So we've gone for, what have we gone for here? 4-4-2 formation this time.
Well, I'm still going to have a go at you like I normally do.
Yeah, I was going to say there's nothing new there.
That, you know?
Pardon me for not being too worried. Right, so we've got... just tell me, when we get there, like you did with Blaise Matuidi last time. Right, in goal, Marco Sportiello for Fiorentina. 2 million, 14 points. He got 2 clean sheets against Udinese and Roma, both away games.
And he's on loan from Atalanta, I believe?
Sportiello from Atalanta, yep, that's correct.
Yeah.
I didn't include that.
Plays for Fiorentina, but he's on loan from Atalanta, yeah?
Yep, correct. And yes, so he's our goalkeeper. And then we've gone in defence. We've got Cristiano Biraghi, another Fiorentina player, actually. 3.5 million, 10 points. The same as Sportiello, but defenders get 5 for a clean sheet rather than 7.
And another on loan from Pescara.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
you like to use the loan system.
Oh, I do. I definitely do. Now, I just want to say at this junction,
he's a left back. I'll just say right.
Oh, so right, okay.
We'll just note he's a left back.
Keeping track of this, right? I just want to say at this junction,
what's coming, don't you?
Of course I do. As very much like the last episode where, how I'd said if we'd gone with the absolute top point scorers, it would have been all Juventus. It's the same story with Fiorentina here. So I've put those 2 in there to represent Fiorentina. But, So the next defender is Victor Laguardia at Alaves.
I rate him as a centre-back. No nonsense he is. And he's now made, I don't know whether it was his 100th appearance even at the weekend, or he's made over 100 appearances for Alaves.
Oh, okay.
Spanish, 28-year-old. So he's probably coming into his prime as a centre-back.
Yeah, I would say so, definitely. He's 7 million, 9 points, a goal and the clean sheet in the home game against the 2-0 home win against Getafe. So there's our...
So he's a centre-back. So, we've got a left-back, a centre-back.
Okay, Gaetano Letizia at Benevento.
Yep, right-back.
Hey, so far so good, though, isn't it?
Yeah, and he's signed a 3-year contract with Benevento, having previously been with Carpi in Serie B.
That's a good move for him, then. Yeah.
Move. And 27-year-old he is now, the Italian, and he's a right-back.
Okay. Well, 5.5 million,
you've got a
8
left
points.
Back, you've got a centre-back, you've got a right-back.
Okay. Well, he got his 8 points, the goal and the clean sheet, but he was booked in the midweek win against Verona. And one big reason I put him in, that those 8 points now take his season total to minus 37. So I just that was noteworthy. And
his teammates haven't exactly helped him out at Benevento, have they?
Well, true enough. And then we've got the fourth defender, Antonio Barragan at Real Betis.
And he's another right back. So a bit lopsided this defence, so that's why I'm having a go at you. He should have another centre-half in there. But he's on loan from Middlesbrough, isn't he? He was
yes, that's right.
Antonio Barragan. Sure, he was at Liverpool early in his career where he made no appearances at all. And he really made his name when he was at Valencia for 5 years between 2011 2016 before joining Middlesbrough, and then he's on loan from Middlesbrough.
Yeah, that's right, at Betis. And he was actually a youth with Sevilla as well. So he's quite well travelled. But notwithstanding the right-back thing, as you know, it's possible. Could have done a Mourinho and retrained them. So that makes up the defence.
Are you saying one of your right-backs, I'll bail you out here, one of your right-backs is playing left-back?
Yeah, why not?
Right, okay.
So, that was the clean sheet and the assist in the 2-0 home win against Eibar. So we're then moving into midfield. Christian Eriksen at Tottenham.
Now you're going to get told off again.
9 million, 8 points, 2 goals in the 2-1 win at Stoke.
Now, did he get 2 goals?
He's been credited with the 2 goals as far as the EuroFantasyLeague game
I'm sure
goes.
Harry Kane got a touch to 1 by his reaction.
I know.
And there's big arguments in the Spurs dressing room, so you're getting told off again.
I know I am, but like I say, I'm fully aware of all of that. But this is points that these players have earned on the EuroFantasyLeague game, and Christian Eriksen has been credited with both of them.
All right, I'll consider myself told.
He got the 8 points. It's not me that decides the points, I'm
only messing.
I know that. And he's joined in midfield by Marco Benassi, another Fiorentina player. Only 1.5 million.
Yeah, he was signed from Torino, the 23-year-old, and he was a regular for Italy under 21s when he was the right age. He's now 23, but I think he made something like 27 appearances for Italy under 21s.
Yeah, well, bright player. I mean, like I say, he got 8 points, the clean sheet in the 2-0 win at Udinese, and then the goal and the clean sheet in the 2-0 win at Roma. So, yeah, that's Marco Benassi in midfield, and he's joined as well by Paul Pogba.
We've spoke about him, haven't we?
Covered that already quite.
And his 45 minutes of fame.
Couldn't resist, could you? And then we've got
had to get it in for you telling us off.
At least he played the full game this time. It's better than some of the picks I made in recent weeks, though, isn't it?
Yeah. You do like a loan move, though.
Loan move and substitutes. That's
you've got to use the loan system well.
You absolutely do. And then you've got Pablo Hernandez, Celta Vigo, 4.5 million, 6 points. That's a clean sheet and 2 assists in that 4-0 win against
not
Sevilla.
To be confused with the Leeds United player of the same name.
No, absolutely. He plays for Celta Vigo.
Argentinian, this Pablo Hernandez, but he plays for Chile.
Okay, that's quite a good.
And do you know who he was signed from?
I do not.
A team called, you won't believe this, O'Higgins in Chile.
Really?
So it sounds like a bar on the Costa Brava or the Costa del Sol, an Irish bar.
It does.
That's who they signed him from, a team called O'Higgins in Chile.
Oh, very good. Very good. That's excellent. That is O'Higgins. Yeah, I've got it here. Yeah. Previously of Argentina.
I do my stuff.
Yeah, definitely. That is
do your research.
Really good. And then up front, we've gone for Chick Diabate, as we've already talked about, and then Paulo Dybala, who we spoke about briefly. Anything you want to add about Paulo Dybala, or
no? That's no. I'm fine. I'm good with that, and that's the best 11 of the week.
It is 14 points for Dybala, the hat trick plus the 2 bonus points for it being a hat trick in the 4-2 win at Benevento. So there we go. Yes, that's the best 11 of the week. So shall we get this name game wrapped up before we? Before we head off. So I attempted to run for FIFA presidency against then head honcho Sepp Blatter in 2015, but I withdrew a couple of weeks later after I failed to find support from the 5 national football associations. I played top flight football for 7 seasons in England, representing 4 different clubs. They were, in no particular order, Aston Villa, Everton, Tottenham and Newcastle.
I think I got it earlier on, didn't I? And David Ginola.
That's absolutely correct. David Ginola is the player of the week here. So very good. Well done. And yes, you did. He was popular.
I'll just tell you a story about David Ginola. The Newcastle team used to call it my local in Durham on the way back from away trips. And if he walked into the bar, the rest of us might as well not been there, like the bar staff. The girls used to get quite excited.
I can imagine, yeah. Yes, he's one of those that's almost any lady you speak to always had a little liking for David Ginola.
My local in Durham, I'll name it the Duke of Wellington. I might get some free pints there.
Oh, you might do, yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, you never know. You might get some crazed stalker coming to visit you now, though, Dave.
They're always welcome.
Well, there you go. A little insight into the psyche that is David Fennick there. Well done. So I think that just about wraps us up for another episode there, Dave. And remember to play the game, EuroFantasyLeague.com, and the league-specific games rather as well. So you've got EPL Fantasy, Fantasy League, Fantasy Serie A. We are on social media. We're on Twitter at EuroFantasyPod. Dave's on there at Davey Fennick, and I'm on there at JamClean1984. You can email us eurofantasypod@gmail.com, and please do any questions or anything you want to get in touch with and have a chat about, get in touch there, and it just gives us a chance to sort of have a little bit of interaction, answer any questions that you want to hear the answers to, anything like that. So do drop us a line.
Slag you off for your team formations.
It wouldn't be the first time either, Dave. You're not even the first one to do it today, so So, and we are, of course, on Apple Podcasts, Acast, Stitcher, TuneIn, all of that. Any podcatcher that you've got, if you wouldn't mind just taking a couple of seconds to log on there, leave us a 5-star rating, and if you get the time, a review as well. It's all good. It helps us get up those charts a little bit, makes us that little bit more visible, and good
for contract talks.
Yeah, always. So I think that just about does for this episode, Dave. So thank you very much for coming along and doing all the homework on the 3 leagues as well. I think I've got the easy end of the deal, really, to be honest.
You have, huh? Yeah. I think I'll go in for contract talks by myself.
Yeah, okay. Best of luck with that one.
Yeah, and we'll see everyone next week.
Yes, we'll be back
on next week.
Yeah, we'll be back next week, which gets our schedule back on track. So thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week. Ta-da for now.